Hey everyone, it's DC here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the levels of mental stress in the cybersecurity industry.
Raise the alarm!
This video idea was brought to me by one of the viewers of this channel, and it was something I sort of had in the back of my mind, but he put it down perfectly, which was his concerns with getting into cybersecurity and then being maybe too stressed out to continue learning or to pursue a career in cybersecurity. So there are different aspects, I guess, that contribute to your mental health in cybersecurity, and it largely depends on where you work, the country that you work in. I know that might sound ridiculous, but it is a contributing factor, as well as the size of the team you're working in and what sort of clients you are working for. For me, I prefer a pretty high-strung environment, which is why I prefer doing contracting. Contracting is definitely a high-stress environment. When you compare it to something like working full-time in a government team. But not all governments are the same, again. So I'm basing this on Australian governments, which are pretty cruisy as far as letting their employees do sort of not whatever they want, but you have a lot of freedom to mess around and sort of waste time on things that maybe don't matter as much, especially when comparing that to like a cybersecurity service provider they're after billable hours, and that's going to be a high stress environment because you have a lot of deadlines that need to be met to basically pay the bills. The other thing is, it's not that easy to find a entry-level job that isn't going to be a little bit stressful. And that's sort of the point of an entry-level position, I guess. It's always ends up being some sort of baptism by fire type situation. And there's no real avoiding that because you haven't got the experience in the industry yet. So you're not going to know how to do everything. And even with someone like my experience, I don't know everything that's going to come across. And what I do know though is that situations that are stressful, I definitely know how to handle them better than when I first entered the industry. An example of this is way back in the first cybersecurity job I had. I constantly thought that I was going to get fired. I used to go to work thinking, today's the day, I'm out, I'm going to get fired, that's it, that's my career over, I'm going to have to find another job. And it's going to be really tricky, or maybe I'll just go back to being a sysadmin or a network engineer, and because I'm familiar with those jobs at least. And it's not easy, and it's not meant to be. So don't stress out too much. And I know that sounds ridiculous, saying like you're going to get stressed, but don't get stressed. But yeah, I think you sort of know where I'm coming from with this. Of course, if you do feel extremely stressed and uncomfortable, maybe it is a good time to talk with your boss or supervisor and just say, things are a little bit stressful and I need a bit of extra time to work on jobs. And most of the time, they're going to appreciate that. They're going to know, okay, well, look, way back when I started, I had a similar situation where I was extremely stressed. And I wish I had gone to my boss or supervisor or superior to ask for a little bit of extra time working on these projects, because I ended up pulling my hair out. I went grey at 20, and yeah, it just wasn't a pleasant experience. Another way to handle stress is to align yourself time slots to get jobs done. So realistic time slots. And in a service provider, this is usually done by booking out your calendar in blocks of work that need to be completed. Now, I know billable hours is billable hours and all of that sort of stuff, but taking a little bit of extra time to do a job means you're going to get it done properly And it's usually not about how fast you can get through the jobs, it's about how much time you can get them done and get them done properly, because they're the customers that are going to keep coming back, and your management's going to love you for that. But the same applies in, like a government job or an office job where you're not working for clients, you're working for your fellow staff. And it's, you can just block out your day, use your calendar to your advantage, not to sort of show off that you've got so much work or whatever it is. Just block out your day, make sure you have enough time to get each project done, and bring it up in the meetings, your progress on that project or particular job that you're doing at that time. And don't forget that not everyone has the same sort of deadline for work as everyone else. Some people work faster than others. Some people work better than others. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter where your skill level is or experience level or any of those other factors. It doesn't really matter. Once you work out that you can separate your time from the stressful environment to actually getting things done block by block, you're just going to start winning really quickly. And that's a key factor in managing stress. I'll quickly go over probably the most stressful positions that I've ever had. Number 3 is as a SOC analyst, contracting. That was a very stressful position because there was already a SOC team lead in this particular job, and he was grilling me, as well as the sysadmins grilling me, as well as the network engineers, all grilling me at the same time, because they felt threatened by me being there, I guess, because I was sort of picking at everything that they were doing, because I was there as a contractor doing like a security audit, just for risk and compliance, and they put me in this SOC analyst role. But it was more of a risk and compliance role. But anyway, that was the third most stressful position I've ever had. The second most stressful position in cybersecurity that I've ever had was my first ever security role, which was as a network security engineer. And I just didn't really know exactly what I was doing. And I was, as I said before, I was so stressed all the time. I was coming to work thinking, today's the day I'm out. Should I just quit and find something else, or should I persevere and keep going with this and just keep being stressed, or what should I do? And I was in a massive rut. Just as a side note, I actually stuck to that job and got a lot of things done, and I ended up getting a written recommendation from the CEO of that company for wherever I moved on to next after that. Which was really nice, and it basically said that while I lacked the experience going into the role, I had all of that experience and professionality going out of that role. And I've still got that letter printed out, and it's stuck on my fridge at home. It's probably one of my best achievements, I guess. The most stressful role I ever had in cybersecurity was as a contracting penetration tester. And that was my most recent role before the role that I'm in now as a SOC team lead. And it was stressful because, again, everyone in the team there was sort of out to get me. They felt threatened that I had done this security audit, and I was essentially picking at them from day one. So I know I sort of brought it on myself, but that was my job. And that's what the CTO was asking me to do anyway. He wanted me to come in there and say, what's wrong here? What are we doing wrong? How can we do it better? And that's exactly what I did. And they didn't seem to like that. So going into that role, straight from the beginning, just little things that were really stressing me out, that were pissing me off. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord channel if you want to have a chat, and I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.
Just don't get too far, and I'll be right.